Afternoon, discombobulated here. I wanted to talk about the job search situation a little bit. I've been applying for a lot of jobs and just not hearing back. Uh, I didn't hear back anything from the Carpenters Union, um, but the guy did tell me. I called him, and he told me that he answered the phone from Las Vegas. He was there for a convention, and he told me that. I was happy that he answered the phone. It made me feel good, like he must be, wanting to keep me informed because if you're on vacation in Las Vegas or at a convention, it seems like you might not pick up the phone. But he told me it was kind of a waiting game that somebody needed to call and ask for workmen or something like that. So I haven't given up completely on that, but definitely haven't heard anything. And then I did apply for a railroad job with Union Pacific, and it was described as like say bridge construction, like carpentry, and I could really picture that. That seemed like it would be really cool, and I feel like I would be good at it. But apparently they did not, because I have not heard back anything from them. And I felt like I did a good job with my resume and the cover letter for that. I kind of made it sound like I was up for the adventure of working for the railroad and whatnot. Um, one one category of jobs that I've been applying for that I never hear back from, and this happened to me last time, is like those apartment maintenance technician jobs, and I'm kind of surprised because I feel like I'd be really good at that, and that my resume, uh, you know, would be good enough for that. And by resume, I guess I just mean my work experience too. But I got some problems there where my work experience is kind of sketchy. I got fired from that last job, and I'm still not sure. Actually, nobody's really asked me about that yet. If I do get cornered on it, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not exactly sure how to phrase it, how to say it. Not exactly sure what even happened there. I was kind of thinking one thing that occurred to me is you could do this thing where you can search by picture, like a backwards or reverse picture lookup, and see people's social media. And I kind of wondered if they found this YouTube channel because and it's got I had some kind of, let's just call them embarrassing, or I don't even know what to say about them, but some of my videos, especially the ones where maybe I was just crying or complaining, or I don't even know. I haven't been able to go back and watch those videos. Um, but I just kind of wonder because of the way that happened, and they wouldn't really tell me anything. But my boss, I remember that boss, he did say, well, it's obvious you have other skills or something like that. And I just kind of was wondering if he was talking about the YouTube channel or something, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter now, but the big point is I'm just not having any luck in the job search department. I think I'm down to 25 bucks ish now, but I do have my federal income tax should be coming any day now, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and that's like a little over 500, and then shortly after that the state income tax, which is about the same amount, should be coming. So it's kind of a miracle, but I'm still going. And then I've really been learning how to live cheaper, eating cheaper, but not eating poorly. I'm just never going out. I'm eating just lots of hamburger and potatoes and chili. I love chili anyway, so I kind of don't mind eating it every day. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going, keep applying. I think I kind of feel like I need to apply in person now somehow. That something about the whole computer world's not working, or even just making a sign and walking around the sidewalk there by Home Depot with a looking for work type deal, or it could say something like have carpentry skills, have truck, tools, clean record, driver's license. I don't know. It just seems kind of sad that situation does. And then turns out the one here in Layton, it's not one of those where all the Mexicans hang out front. The one in Salt Lake City is. And I think that they would probably give me the stink eye. I mean, the Mexicans, if I was to go down there, and try that there. But up here, I might be able to get away with it, But I don't know. I really don't even know what to do about that there. I've been going to AA meetings a lot, almost like once a day. Not so much because I feel like drinking. Although, just a couple days ago, I wanted to go get a pack of cigarettes, which I haven't smoked in like 12 years, but I wanted to go get a pack of Marlboro 72s and a 12 pack. Just sit in the sunshine in my truck and get that relief that those first 2 or 3 beers brings. And that smoke, But then I kind of just thought twice, and I've been involved with AA again and going to the meetings, and then the last time I drank was just before New Year's. It's interesting I didn't drink on New Year's, but so I'm just over like 60 days completely sober. Not even that that's really the goal. I'm not sure that drinking is my problem. It's more of just a life problem and a thinking problem than a drinking problem, But it was all kind of hand in hand, and the drinking always just made my life problems worse. And I've gotten myself in a lot of trouble while I was drinking too, so there's something there. And then there for sure was something there for a while. I was kind of a major alcoholic, I was one of those alcoholics that would drink a 12 pack. And then on the way to the store to get that 12 pack, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's it. I'm not going back. And then I'd finish that one and I'd be going back for another 12 pack. And I'd be sort of like, mad at myself for going back. But it's like my body was programmed to just walk up there and get another 12 pack. And then I would just like sit on the porch and smoke cigarettes and drink beer and resent people, resent my life, resent my ex-wife, that kind of stuff. And just spend some time on Inebriation Island doing that bit, wasting time, wasting my life, making things worse, not going anywhere during those critical years when I should have been really trying to go somewhere, But honestly, at that point, I'd sort of given up. I'd been beat up enough, and my self-esteem, my self-worth was shot. And I was traumatized by those bad relationships with women, and just all that there kind of thing, But since I've been going to AA and eating pretty good, I've been feeling, pretty good physically, and actually been sleeping better. So, in general, I feel like things are good except for not having a job. And then it's actually given me the time to come up in the mountains a lot, which I think has helped my connection with my higher power, or in my case, Jesus, God. And been going out to Antelope Island a lot and hiking around, doing like some really long hikes, and mostly like for exercise, but just that peace of mind and that serenity that I get when I'm out of town and away from the world, So I'm going to make another video right after this one. I didn't want to put them together because I'm probably going to screw this next one up, but I wanted to go back and talk about the women that I've known. This one woman in particular, kind of like that story I had started. I feel like I probably shouldn't have started this story there. I probably should have started sooner, backed up a couple women before that kind of set the stage for all that. But in a way, each woman set the stage for the next woman. Like, I'll just talk about one early girlfriend that really kind of twisted my brain up. Her name was Maria. And I met her when I was like, say, 17. And I was on the diving team in high school, and she was in the bleachers. And I don't know, somehow I just saw her and I just thought, oh man, she was so pretty, so beautiful. She just had this look. And so I told a buddy to ask about her and everything. And I think that she said she had a boyfriend or something like that or whatever. It didn't work out right away, but then later down the road, like maybe a week later, I think she had somebody pass me a note or something that said she was interested in seeing me. And so she became a pretty steady girlfriend for a while, and kind of introduced me to that whole, world of fabulous sex, let's say. I remember just, mostly her parents had like a Vanagon, like one of those old trucks, and, listening to Led Zeppelin and making love in the back of that Vanagon. And, uh, or in my bedroom, like she would come over. I remember one time my dad walked in on us, and my dad he would always just open the door without knocking for some reason. He's always done that to me, even as an adult. I don't know what that's about really. I wouldn't do it to somebody, but he always felt free just to open the door, just to see what I was doing. I remember one time he opened the door and she was on top of me with their shirt off and everything, of course. And I don't know if I think maybe I got the feeling that he wasn't angry at me, more like he was maybe even proud of me or something. I'm not sure about that. I honestly, it's been a long time now too, but that particular event really stuck in my mind. She was really cool. She kind of had this Stevie Nicks thing going on. Where I remember we went to a laser light show I was in the Seattle area, down below the Space Needle there. They had this planetarium, and they would have these light shows there. And they had a Led Zeppelin light show, and uh, we went. And I remember she wore this black cape that had like a velvet lining, and I think it was like a sort of a blue velvet lining, but I'm not positive about that. But she just had this cool look, and I just felt so proud and glad to be with her, and she was just beautiful. And uh, well, what happened there was I went then one night and I threw a couple pebbles at her window to get her to come to the window, and uh, she opened up the window and said that she couldn't talk, and I was like, "What?" Trying to figure out what was going on, and it was because she was talking to that other guy that she had known just before I met her, and I kind of knew about him, but I just figured that after being with me, she would fall in love with me and wouldn't want to be with him anymore. But that's, I guess, not what happened. He was older. He was in the army. I got the feeling maybe he was 20-ish or something. But well, whatever the case, it really broke my heart. And then I didn't want to talk to her anymore. And then she had called me, uh, and then there was something interesting that happened. Was that she told me that her sister was interested in me and wanted to know if I wanted to date her sister. And at that time, I was just heartbroken over her and couldn't imagine dating her sister. And but that was so stupid of me. I really regret that. I mean, just the idea of sleeping with both those sisters. I never had another chance to do that in my life, so I feel like it was a major, major error. But her sister wasn't nearly as good looking as she was, but still, if I had to do it again, I would have definitely went ahead and dated her sister for a while. I don't think it would have led anywhere, but it would have been some fun sex for sure. And then just I would have that sort of in my memory banks. But the reason I'm going back to that gal, Maria, is because it affected all my subsequent relationships because I kept looking for her again. I wanted another mysterious Stevie Nicks-ish, cape wearing, beautiful brunette. And so I would meet like really cool women, but because they weren't her, I wouldn't really give them a chance. And there was especially this girl that I'll probably talk about in the future because she was a big influence on my life, but her name was Laura. And I really wish now that I had stayed with Laura, but because Laura wasn't Maria and I couldn't think outside of that box, I just screwed that relationship up and sort of just left her in the lurch, and I think I'll have to go back to that one another time. But I want to end this video for now, and then I'm going to make another video just right after this about M. Let's just call her that girl that I was, I think I left it where I'd gotten my first kiss with her there in my photo studio. And let's just call her M. And then I just wanted to, kind of finish talking about that sex bombing thing and how it can affect men and how women use it as a tool to kind of get their way or get you to just do stuff, that maybe you wouldn't have done otherwise if you hadn't received a good carpet bombing of sex. Well, anyway, so I'm going to just stop this one right here and then I'll get back to you about M.